Over the last 8 years, I've personally advised on over $200 million in ad spend, and these are the 3 elements you need to know if you want to be successful with Facebook ads to get more sales and conversions. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first one is creatives, and if you use multiple creatives in your ad sets, you're going to achieve a much lower cost per result. In fact, a 46% reduction in your cost per result just by having additional creative assets inside of your audiences. And you do this by, rather than just having one image or 1 or 2 videos running inside of your ad set, add in multiple creatives. By having additional videos, having additional images, you're going to reduce the overall cost per conversion because Meta's able to test against each of those creatives to see which one's going to perform best. And by having different formats, you're going to resonate with different audiences. You're also going to find out that certain ads work in certain audiences. Whereas if you were to only use one creative in the same audiences, and some of these audiences don't resonate with that creative, well, you're already at a disadvantage because now those audiences are going to underperform and you're not going to get as many results. Whereas if you had multiple creative formats in each, well, some audiences resonate with different creatives, getting you purchases, and others do as well. So therefore, you're getting a much lower cost per result, accelerating the learning process and testing process, finding out which creatives are actually converting, and all at the same time, you've reduced your cost per result by 46%. That is a huge number for people who don't test multiple creatives in each audience. The next one is you want to have vertical video into the creative mix inside of your ad sets. This is going to get you a 18% lift in overall conversions. That means you're going to have 18% more of the result you're asking for. So if you're asking for sales, you're literally getting an 18% lift in purchases on your website. And the way you do this is vertical video is a huge placement right now. If you think about Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, video is one of the most engaged format of ad creatives on Facebook right now. So you want to have vertical video, and that is not just a 3-second, 5-second video. That is a 20-second to a minute-long video where you're actually explaining what your product does, you're demonstrating it, you're going through the benefits. It could be a review, it could be a UGC-based video. And this would include a voiceover or audio. We know audio also helps with lifting your overall conversions. So just by having vertical video added into your ad sets, you're going to achieve more conversions. If you're only running image ads and you're testing multiple image creatives, well, great, you've reduced your cost per result because you have multiple. But if you add in vertical video, not only are you reducing your cost per result by upwards of 40+%, you're also achieving an 18% lift in conversions because now you have a mixture of creatives plus you're leveraging vertical video, which is where most people are spending their time, is on Instagram Reels, Instagram Stories, Facebook Stories, and more. So you want to have vertical video inside of your ad sets if you want to achieve more conversions. The next one is run partnership ads. And a lot of you don't even realize what partnership ads are. Well, partnership ads are essentially whenever you hire a creator to make a video about your product or post about your business, and they post it on their personal page, well, inside of your Facebook Business Manager, there's actually a section called partnerships, and you can go into that and you can request collaborator access to that post. And once they accept it, they then give you unrestricted access to be able to leverage that video and run ads underneath their page. So rather than running an ad underneath your branded business name, let's say that your business is pets.com, well, you're actually running it under Susie, who made a video about your pet products. So it factors in more trust, allowing people to identify that a creator's talking about a product versus a brand, but you're just amplifying budget behind that ad creative and running ads behind the video that they posted or the image that they put up on their page. This is a great way to lift conversions, meaning you've actually gotten 20% more conversions per dollar compared to non-partnership ads. So if you want to make more money, try launching a partnership ad where you hire a creator, you then request collaborator access and run ads from their page. And I'll take this a step even further for you. Once you do that, well, you have unrestricted access to be able to target their entire audience. So if they have 1 million followers, 10,000 followers, or get hundreds of thousands of views or just a few thousand views, you can actually retarget their entire audience with their own post and reach all of those people to get them to come back to your website to make a purchase. This is a great strategy, and you should definitely be testing this if you're not already. The next one is add catalog ads to retargeting. So many of you miss out on the chance to run catalog ads, and it's essentially just connecting your catalog. If you have a Shopify store, you're just connecting the Facebook catalog to the Shopify one, and it syncs up your products. So whenever somebody goes and visits your website and they view your product page and then they leave and don't check out, well, you can retarget them with that exact product image. This is giving you a 27% better return on ad spend just by doing this compared to not. So if you have your best performing video creative and image creative and you launch it into retargeting, and let's say performance is going good, well, if you just add in a additional creative, which is your catalog ad creative, which dynamically pulls in all of your products and shows them, you're going to get a much better return on ad spend because it's retargeting people with the most relevant product they viewed, or retargeting them with a product that they haven't seen that you showed in another ad, and they then see this ad and they're like, wait, I didn't know you sold these products as well. They might actually make a purchase, leading to a much better result. Or it shows a product that is a higher AOV with a better profit margin, and they decide to buy that product over the other one. Well, you're getting a much better return on ad spend because of that. So if you don't have catalog ads, you definitely need to integrate them into your retargeting specifically. Next up is adding close-up shots of the product or model. This one's a big one. It's only an 8% lift in more conversions, but I can assure you that this one is very stable. Like, this is the quickest 8% you could ever achieve just by taking a product image and zooming in on that product. So rather than it only taking up, say, 50% of your image, make it take up like 80 to 90% of the image. The bigger the product image, the better, because it takes up more of the feed. It's more visualized. You can see it better. You're going to get way more conversions. So although it says 8% lift in conversions, well, it literally is a very stable metric. And all these metrics are great, but this one is like one of the quickest and easiest ones to do because you just crop any image or video you have and zoom in on the model or the product, and you're automatically just giving yourself more sales. So this is something you definitely need to do. So if you have an image that is much smaller of the product and another image that is much bigger, you can test this against one another. The image that is more zoomed in is going to get better results. Same thing for the models. If the model is in full view and you're showing off a t-shirt, but you can see their pants that you're not selling, you can see their shoes and them fully standing up, zoom all the way in to where it's just waistline and above, to where you only see the shirt. You're going to get a much better result because it's focused on the actual product. When you show too much information in an image, it can get lost and people might actually not know what's going on, and it can detach from impulse buys. You know, there's so many impulse buyers on social media because so many people are scrolling and they're very emotional whenever they're buying items. And sometimes they see something and they're like, I love it, I want to buy it immediately. And that works 9 times out of 10 whenever you have a product image that is much more close up shot. So definitely have this one incorporated. Next one is AI rendered product backgrounds. This one's interesting because 16% lower cost per purchase. We're moving into the AI era. And essentially AI is taking over and lots of cool tools are being launched all the time. I've talked about them in so many different videos. And one thing that we found is whenever you actually have a product and you don't have a lot of different variations for that image, let's say you're a newer store and you only have a picture of your shampoo. Well, generating background images for this product without having to actually go and take them yourself looks very realistic compared to just shooting it on your own, and it saves you a ton of time. So what I mean by this is you have a shampoo bottle that you're promoting. Well, an AI rendered background would essentially take that shampoo bottle and put it in a shower and have a shower background and show it in the setting that you would actually probably see shampoo, or it'd set it on the counter in a bathroom. Or you could put a bunch of different flavors and scents around what the actual shampoo smells like. So if it's a fruity scent, you're actually showcasing fruits around that shampoo bottle, and it actually allows people to visualize and sort of smell the scent in a way without actually testing the product themselves. This can actually result in a 16% lower cost per purchase because you're bringing the product to life in a real setting that they are very familiar with. So this is something you want to test out. There are many tools out there to do this, and if you incorporate this, you could achieve a much lower cost per result. Now we're moving into the targeting category. This is where you actually adjust audiences. You have different settings. There's broadening audiences, there's interests, there's lookalikes. There's so many different things you can do, and it can be very complicated. I've narrowed these down to just a few data points that are very specific that I think you really need to know. And the first one is testing Advantage Plus audiences. If you haven't done this, you should do it. If you've been running ads for a long time, at least more than 180 days, this is a must for you. If you've only been running ads for 7 days or 30 days, hold out a little bit longer and then launch Advantage Plus, because Advantage Plus campaigns look at your entire account history and data and essentially take all of that information and then target on its own. It does its own targeting, and Meta's gotten really good to being able to match and find people who are going to buy your product. So allowing the algorithm to take over and essentially do this for you, you could achieve a 5 times increase in reach, meaning You're reaching way more people for a much lower cost per result, and you're actually decreasing your cost per conversion by 15%. This is huge. So just by having an advantage plus alongside of the other audiences you're targeting, you're already putting yourself in a quote unquote advantage. Next one is broad audiences. This is a known thing that a lot of people have been doing, and it's been around for many years, but not everybody has fully gotten there yet. You want to test broad alongside any interest you're already doing by having broad audiences, and broad doesn't even have to mean just an open audience with no targeting. Broad could quite literally be an age category limit. It could be a really big interest audience of like 10 to 20 million people. That is still a broad audience. But just by having a much broader audience, you're automatically lifting your purchases by 15%, and you're increasing your return on ad spend by 20%. And broad audiences are more scalable than smaller interest audiences. Interest audiences are great for testing initially to find out what's working, but the moment you start to scale to 100 daily, 200, 300, 500,000, and as you go on, you want to broaden out that audience because you're going to be scaling spend, so you need to be able to reach more people and appeal to a much wider audience. By doing that, you're giving yourself a much better return on ad spend, so you should always have a broad audience in the mix if you don't already. The next one is use high quality sourced audiences. This is going to get you a 9x higher return on ad spend, not a 9x return on ad spend, but a 9x higher. So if you're at a 1x, you actually, in theory, could have a much higher return on ad spend just by doing this. And the reason is if you source a high quality audience, meaning you, instead of using a, purchase 180 day custom audience to retarget where you're selling them other products that you offer. So you're retargeting anybody who's bought from you before, and you're retargeting them with a purchase 180 day, well, that audience is only as good as what Meta has matched and what they have tracked on your website. Some people have, pixel blockers, tracking blockers, and Meta hasn't picked up on who those people are. And sometimes, you don't have a full match rate. So your match quality score is much lower on your Meta pixel, meaning you're only scoring a 5 out of 10 when you could be a 9 out of 10 matchback rate. Having a high quality sourced audience is essentially, instead of doing that audience, you would go to your email list and you would download all of the customer data from your Shopify, your CRM, wherever you house that information on your backend. You download all the customer names, their addresses, their emails from your CRM or Shopify store, and you take that customer list, you upload it into Facebook ads, and it's a much higher quality sourced audience because you have more data points on those people. And then Meta can then go and match, okay, this person's name tied to this email, to this address. Yes, I know who they are. Okay, we have phone number, name. I know who they are. Okay, we have email, and we don't have a name, but we have email and phone number. Okay, I can find out who they are. Meta is able to match. The more data points you give it, it's more likely to be able to match more people. Therefore, you're getting a much higher quality sourced audience. So you want to leverage those on your retargeting. Just like if you would do a, say a add to cart audience where you're retargeting it, well, you can do an add to cart 180, but you could also just go ahead and go to your website, download the email list of all the people who added to cart but didn't purchase and upload that as well. You're getting a much better return on ad spend because you're able to match back more data points and give Meta a much better chance at bat to get better results for you. The next one is ad copy. This is where we actually write out descriptions, primary text. This is text in the images. This is text in headlines. This is any ad written form of text, whether it's captions, any of that. And you're going to see a 5.1x incremental return on ad spend just by leveraging Meta's AI ad copy. I was actually at the Meta Ad Performance Marketing Summit very recently, and one of the things they touched on was that their AI tool for generating ad copy is trained internally on the best performing ads in the same category that you're in. So let's say that you're selling clothing and apparel. Well, if you use the Meta Ad Copy tool where it recommends 5 different ad copy formats in addition to the one you wrote, those 5 ad copy formats are actually a blend of other ad copies from different advertisers who are running clothing ads similar to yours that are performing at a much better return on ad spend or better result than you are. So it's not just a generic AI that's generating it. It's actually more specific than that. It's going after data that's already been proven to work and then basically combining yours with theirs and giving you a better chance at getting a much higher result. So by doing this, you could actually have a 5.1x incremental return on ad spend just by leveraging some of those AI features that Meta has for ad copy specifically. Now, the Meta AI Creative tool is not fully there yet, and it is still in the learning process. I wouldn't fully use all of the recommendations that Meta has for AI specifically because they still need more time to iron out and the learning process needs to improve. And I've seen a lot of horrible looking ads by mistakenly allowing Meta to do its own AI thing. I would turn off a lot of that stuff that doesn't actually work just yet, but the ad copy one is fine to test because we are seeing good results with that. The next one is short ad copy to warm audiences. So basically, ads with shorter text have up to a 13% higher click-through rate. Yes, you heard that correctly. Rather than having, multiple lines of text where you have, multiple paragraphs and you have 5 lines and 3 lines and 2 lines of ad copy inside of your primary text, try just 1 line or 2 lines of text, nothing more. But do that only in warm audiences. And a warm audience is basically you retargeting people. It's anybody who visited your website, interested in your product, bought it. That's where you want to have short ad copy. The reason that is because whenever somebody sees one of your other ads and you've had longer form ad copy, you have longer videos, well, they're already familiar with your product and already know a lot about you. There's not much more explaining you really need to do. They just haven't bought yet. So essentially, whenever you launch that retargeting ad with shorter ad copy, it's very impulse driven. It's short, it's concise. It's like, hey, you've already seen our stuff. Here's our product. Do you want it or not? And then people are more likely to actually click through and buy because there's not much information to digest. So they're not spending too much time looking at your ad because there's not much to look at or to read. They're clicking through to find out more. So therefore, you're getting a much higher click-through rate, hence the 13% increase. The next one is, obviously, you know it, long ad copy. We just covered short. Long ad copy is also great, but it's specifically great to cold audiences. 20% higher conversion rate when using long form ad copy to audiences of people who've never heard about your brand. So whenever you're promoting your product to an entirely new audience, have longer form ad copy. They don't know who you are, so you want to be more descriptive instead of being short. You want to explain your product. You want to highlight some of the features, the reviews, the benefits, and call those things out in a longer form ad. And that allows you to do that by writing more characters per line and paragraphs, so that way you can demonstrate the value and get across all the information you need. Therefore, you're resulting in a much higher conversion rate. So we've covered a lot of stats here that you could implement directly today and start seeing a much better return on ad spend, lower cost per conversion, more conversions, and overall reach more people with your Facebook ads just by applying all of these learnings that I spent millions of dollars on over the last 8 years, and I've just given them all to you completely for free. So it's up to you whether or not you want to use these data points and implement them into your business. And if you do, let me know, how does your overall results improve? And if you want to see more videos like this, definitely make sure to subscribe. And if you're interested in learning more, I actually put together a full free training for you in the link below this video. So check that out. And I look forward to seeing you there. And once again, it's your favorite digital marketer, Chase Chappell. Cheers and bye all.